we refinanced our mortgage, and like my husband couldn't believe it. It was 2 point something. He couldn't remember having a loan in the twos. He thinks like since maybe the 60s, but it was like so exciting, and it was such a good move that we were able to pocket $250 a month because the lower interest rate cost us to save $250 each month. That was exciting. So I was really excited about that, and so was my husband. So I was thinking of all these things. We're for sure gonna save it. Remember, I was on that cash envelope kick and excited about the lady that was doing the cash envelopes, and it was bringing back memories of me as a young person, saving envelopes on my own in my bedroom and then taking them to the bank and sticking them in the safety deposit box so that when I retired someday I'd have all these envelopes stuffed with cash, right? Anyways, so around the same time as I'm thinking about what are we going to do with this $250 each month, and thinking we could save for this, we could do this, and the stuffing cash envelopes came up. So then the Social Security was still on my mind. So when I finally called, got all the information, and was just not happy with the fact that I was only going to get $753 a month. I was just not happy. And again, I thought that when you do this at age 62, it should be exciting, and I wasn't excited. Well, that turned around real quick, because when I realized we had $250, and my husband, as I talked about, I said, what are we going to do with this? What are we going to do with this? And he was just happy that I kind of pursued the whole thing about refinancing, and I was kind of thinking that, what's going to happen with COVID? Are we going to be in a disaster? Are we going to need more money? And he was really appreciative that I kind of even was in the state of mind to worry or think about doing that. And so when push came to shove, I pretty much could tell that that was my little stash to enjoy, because had I not pursued it and really paid attention, we wouldn't even have thought of refinancing. Okay, so 250 plus, what did I say? 753. Correct. The actual amount of my retirement, of my Social Security, was $753. I apologize. I may have said 703. I'm so excited. I forgot what I said. And they said my actual monthly amount, dollar amount, would be $753. So in my pea brain, I'm adding 753 plus the 250 that now I'll be getting, like almost exactly the same day that my Social Security check would be coming in, and when we pay the mortgage, and when this leftover $250 would be available. And when I realized it came to $1,003, all of a sudden the joy of senior citizenry, is that a word? Citizenry, was so exciting that I was going to start collecting my Social Security at age 62. And even though it was only $753 from the actual Social Security office, it was still $1,000 to me, because this other $250 was coming out on the side on the same day, same time, same place. And was so excited. So, filled out all the paperwork. And I guess you can do it anytime. Like, you don't have to do it right exactly when you turn 62. You could do it at any time past 62. And perhaps 65 may be the max. I can't recall because they keep upping the retirement age. And I do know that for many years I have listened to people, and I've done the math, and I've seen other people do the math about, what is the actual real benefit or worth of waiting to the minimal age 65 to start collecting max Social Security. And I never felt bad about collecting it early because you had to do all these little math sequences. And then when you had the two math sequences, or the two different amounts of, if I retired at max amount, if I retired at minimum amount, then how many years in between, like 5 years of how many months, 72 months at how many dollars, all that stuff, that even if it was a little bit more, to me it wasn't worth it. Then you add in the extra unknown of would you even live to be another 5 years? Would you have an accident and you weren't here anymore? Or if you were, would you not be able to enjoy it? So just those two things. Mainly, would I be able to enjoy it? That weighed a lot on my mind. And I've even seen YouTube videos of people who have done even more extensive math than myself, me and my husband. Because my husband, he's just such a brain. And decades ago, he talked about it. And he said, you know me, I'm gonna wait times max before I collect mine. But that's just him, because he was like 65 going on 45. Their whole family has super young chains. It's unbelievable. Whereas my side of the family, not so much. We're like the complete opposite. But anyways, I recall my husband on the first day he got his Social Security check, and it was on his birthday, believe it or not. He got all signed up so that all this stuff would start kicking in on his actual birthday. And he was so happy, and we still have a picture. He went down on that day because he needed to do some kind of ID card, military ID card. And he made it such a happy day that I was happy for him, and we still have that ID card and that happy, big, smiling face on that actual day. And I think that's why throughout all the years I had an idea of what a eventful day that would be. And so, that may have added to my disappointment when I realized, I really can't start Social Security now because I'm not happy. And in the back of my mind, I had all the joy and happiness and excitement that my husband had. But of course, his was way bigger because he had worked his whole life, and he had a lot of income. And what do you need? Units added up. And so he got max, and he was so happy about that. So it wasn't until I had added that extra $250 and really felt happy about getting Social Security. So anyways, I told you that to tell you all this. Everybody's situation is different, even between my husband and myself. He waited to age 65 and got max. I'm barely struggling to get to age 62 to get it. But you really can't look at someone else's situation and say, I'm going to do that into that. It's such an individual thing. And even when two people are married, you think you have a life together and everything's the same. It's really not, because even though you've been married for decades and decades, I'm beginning to realize that how you feel is a big deal. Your health is a big deal. No, I went through my young life, all these big plans, and could never imagine that I wouldn't have the energy and stamina that I had in my all throughout my life. And I guess at age 50 is when things kind of slowed up for me. But I just couldn't imagine that I would be a different me, a sluggish, slower me with joint issues and anyways. So but then when it finally comes upon you, something you've been thinking about forever, just be sure you are happy with your own decision. And you can search online for people that have the pros and cons. You can find professional people with pros and cons of Social Security earlier or late, and you can find everyday people like ourselves who have also done the math and are actually living it. Honestly, I don't remember finding a one video that pretty much said it's just your best bet to get the max at age 65. Not a single one said that. And of course, it would kind of not be wise to say that, because they would already know that everybody's situation is different. But in every presentation, I never felt that it was such a big difference to look at, no matter what your situation. Just always felt that, well, there may be a difference. But then honestly, after doing the math, and then you have to take all those years in between, 72 months of catching up, or that you would have had. I have to have the paperwork in front of me for me to explain it properly, but so when it comes your time, just be sure you make the decision that's right for you. And that if you have a spouse, hopefully they'll be happy with your decision. And hopefully, really, the saying is, they won't rain on your parade. Whatever decision you make, I'll be just as happy for you as you are for yourself. As it really does seem like a whole new beginning phase of life, where I really didn't think there was any. When you're old, you're just old. And what new thing is there for you that you haven't had? But I was wrong, because now it's like a whole new world of excitement. I'm thinking now, what seems like overnight, but of course it wasn't overnight. I have $1,000 each month. What am I going to do with it? And that's so exciting. I can't even begin to explain it. But I think what I see myself mostly doing is getting my little cash envelopes. Life is funny. I'm going to relive my teen years prior to leaving home at age 19 and moving to Santa Barbara for my postal job. And I would stuff envelopes with cash, all these things that I was going to need to save up for in my life. It seems like I had 5 or 6 envelopes with vacation, retirement, and a couple other things. I don't know, maybe Christmas was in there, but like for a house or... Oh, I felt so good about myself. And that's when I was just like, I had a peon Kmart job. There was a few months I worked for a check printing, deluxe check printers. Oh, that's a good story I never told you. I should tell you that story. Oh my goodness. What a crackpot. Things. My mom was so worried about me, the things I thought about. Because remember, I was just a big daydreamer. The things I thought. You know, that Dr. Seuss, there's a book, Oh, the Things You Will Do, or Oh, the Places You Will Go, or the Things You Would Do. I'm even that way today. I'm such a big daydreamer, but 19, I had this, looking back, it was really a crackpot. My mom, I think, seriously thought I'd become a crackpot inventor like my dad. We just call him like a crackpot inventor because he'd have these great ideas that no one else thought of. And my mom would always say, well, that's why they don't have them anywhere. No one else thought of them, because they're not that good of an idea. But I think they were. I need to do note to self. I have got to tell you of that story time while we're talking about money and income and stuffing envelopes, saving money. Okay, story of deluxe check printer job. And again, this was just 3 months. So that had to have been 1978, October, November, December. October, November, December. That's a good story. All right, got that. So this is hysterical. Remember, I made my video when I was eating the Asian sesame salad, and I was eating it like a crazy person. I was starving. Here I am today with shrimp scampi. Not nearly as exciting as that Asian sesame salad I had for dessert. So, so you know, as I think of what's the most exciting part of this extra money per month, I'm really looking forward to really getting an action plan or a savings plan, or maybe do that snowball. Have you guys heard of snowball? That people pay off their debt. Maybe I'll do that. I do have one charge card, even though I have 3. 2 of them are like always zeroed out because I just buy something, I put the money on it, I buy it, so it kind of zeroed itself out. But this other one is a charge card just for this one store, and I'm realizing I don't use that card to buy a lot of stuff from that one store anymore. I'd be a real easy one to do the snowball debt. Because really, when it works is you're supposed to take your smallest debt and start paying that off. And when you get the smallest debt, you move it to the next one. And so the 2 charge cards that I use, they don't count because the debt is only from month to month and I was just paid off. And that's been before this $1,000. But now that I think it's like $3,500, $3,500 or $3,800 on it. So in my brain, ideally, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I could have that paid off in 4 months. I'll just put the $1,000 each month and I'll be done with it. Because the interest each month is like 100. I think it's like $100 or a little over 100. That's not fun. So, right here as we're talking, these big dreams I want to pay off in 4 months. That probably won't happen, but it's so fun to dream about it. Right. Another envelope was a real joy for me. You know, it's a donation envelope which includes gifts outside of birthdays and Christmas and all that. I really do enjoy, especially with the grandkids. I guess it would be called Gifts for No Reason. GFNR, Gifts for No Reason. Just, I really enjoy having a cash envelope for that. That would be GFNR, Gift for No Reason. It's like, I call it like a donation envelope. And to give over abundantly, we had a friend of our family just miserable, you know. Got a new job after COVID and everything was going wonderfully, and then something came up and just really stole their joy. So I really wanted to just like have them have a happy birthday, so like the traditional few bucks that we always get him for his birthday. And we just really upped it to where it would just really be fun for him. And I love to do that. Never anything like outrageous, like we're the Beverly Hillbillies and we just struck oil yet. Wouldn't that be fun to be the Beverly Hillbillies? I was a kid, oh my goodness. I wanted to be them so bad. That one day you're just you're just a hillbilly. And then you get oil, and the next day you're Beverly Hills. How fun is that? But it's like a life of suddenlies, and I have had like events in my life, and I look back, it's a suddenly moment. Like one day you're here, and the next day you're here. And the more I'm talking about my Social Security check, the more I'm thinking this is like a suddenly moment. Even though I'm praying for a long while, like all of a sudden I'm excited about stuffing my cash envelope. So if any of you are interested, I originally heard of this system with Dave Ramsey years ago, but because my husband was never on board with it. It was pretty much a no-go for us. It was very disheartening for me, because I love to budget, and I love to have no bills, and I love to get everything with cash, and I love Simple Simon. He was the exact opposite. I said, okay, well, we don't have to budget, but why don't we just keep a record of what we spend each month and where our money's going? He didn't even want that. And, looking back, I think he's just like his rest of his whole family is the same way with money. I think they're a little sneaky. I'm just definitely not. And I think he thought that if everything was, outlined, I'd get a whiff of where his money was going. And I knew he didn't want that. But really, that's somewhat unfair, because he was in real estate. Oh my goodness, the technology he bought and all the stuff, and it was very stressful for me, because I thought, once he gets this, okay, he's done spending, he's done spending. But again, he worked very, very, very hard in real estate. He made very, very, very good money in real estate. And I should really have the same attitude, joy for him, and I should have let him have as much fun spending his money as I can tell he's having towards me. My $1,000 a month. He was never that bad that we were like ever had money troubles. I just always felt that you should just have a simple life. Things should be paid for. You just buy your stuff in cash. So there you have it. And we're here in Southern California. I'm kind of just assuming it's the same age for everybody, that 62 is the earliest, and then 65, I think it's like a grandfather clause. It was grandfathered in. Depending on what year you were born, you could get your max Social Security at a certain age. And here in California, for me, it would have been 65. Anyways, thank you for celebrating my fun day with me today. I'm already in daydreaming land. And thank you to those of you who watch the ads prior to my videos. That's income for me, and I appreciate that. It's very teeny tiny income. And in fact, I even remember thinking, before that $250 came in from the mortgage refinance, I was thinking of all different ways, like, I'm not happy with $750. Where could I find more money? And I do remember looking at my YouTube channel thinking like, oh well, if I did a live stream every night, maybe that'd work. If I did this, that would work. But that was, it was an immediate no, because with ASMR, you don't want ads all through your video, although many people do tons of ads in the video at the end. But I must admit, I thought of it for a moment or two, but that didn't go far. Again, thank you to those of you watching the ads prior to each video. If you enjoyed this video, please push the thumbs up like button. Really appreciate your help with that.